Welcome, Spartans, to Mission Debrief. We're playing every mission of the mainline Halo video games in chronological order, discussing our experiences and sprinkling in a bunch of lore along the way. Yeah, I changed that for the new season.
Oh my god, it used to be a little bit.
I know.
You don't do little bits anymore, Colin?
Well, I feel like we talk about quite a bit of lore.
I feel like you're setting our expectations too high.
I only signed on for like a little bit of lore, Colin. I'm not ready for a lot of lore.
I don't have the capabilities of doing a lot of lore, Colin. Maybe
well,
like
a bunch.
Maybe
a bunch of bananas.
A good amount of lore, but not. It's.
I'm going for solid lore.
Solid amount. Okay,
Solid.
I'll work on that.
Okay, please do.
If you like,
don't just surprise us like that, Colin, in the middle of an episode. That's bad.
If you'd like to play along and have your thoughts read on the show, email us. podcastevolve@gmail.com or drop us a tweet at podcastevolved on Twitter. If you like what you hear, you can support the show by visiting Evolved, not Podcast Evolved, Evolved.
Oh my god,
we're going
who
through
are they?
Changes on Patreon. This episode, we're debriefing the final mission of the lockdown area. It's kind of the first and the last, but anyway, it's the lockdown area. The mission is the Tower from Halo Infinite. I'm your host, Colin Perkins, alongside David Arnold.
Hello, everybody.
And Krista Brown.
Is this the Palace of Pain?
Ooh.
Welcome to my tower, Master Chief.
Last mission was recovery, and we'll talk about recovery a little more in this, but it's that little tiny mission that you get dropped off on in the lockdown area. So we went around and found all the stuff. We killed some high-value targets, all that sort of stuff. So the pilot dropped John 117 on a new section of the ring near the distress signal located by the weapon. Master Chief quickly captured another fob and headed out to get his bearings, thin the banished ranks, and reunite with UNSC forces scattered about this portion of Zeta Halo. Now in the tower, Master Chief heads towards the ominous building that's emitting the signal the weapon located back at Outpost Tremonius. He battles his way into the compound, up a gravity lift, and finds the source of the signal, Spartan Griffin's empty armor.
Ooh,
Chief quickly
He's stripping.
Chief quickly climbs through the darkness and tries to locate the Mjolnir-less super soldier. Mjolnir-less.
Finally, we get Spartan strippers. This is what I've always wanted.
Oh my god. Absolutely, Chris.
Date of the game is May 28th, 2560? 2560, right? That's right. Okay, a couple things quickly before we dive into the mission. Remember when you listened to the first and second episodes when we rated those episodes? Those missions?
No, I don't. I don't remember that.
Well, we forgot to do that for Outpost Tremonius. That is my fault completely, and we're not gonna rate that lockdown thing we just talked about because it's a weird thing. But we may at one point talk about the open world areas and compare them, therefore, throughout the game. So Outpost Tremonius, give me a quick rating on that mission, Krista.
It's super short. Like, it's very short. There's not much to it. So maybe a 7, because it's just, I don't know. It's just, there's good moments in it, and the cinematic is great, but it's like 5 minutes.
Yeah. Super quick. David?
I'll be harsh and I'll rate it lower. Only because I felt, and this is my own opinion on the game in general, I felt like Tremonius was supposed to be a bigger thing than it actually is in the game. So I was kind of disappointed.
The outpost
because
itself? Or
yeah, the outpost itself, because the mission setup is actually pretty cool. Like, you know, you have, like, you're fighting your way into literally the first base of the game. It's about to open up. The whole game is about to open up, and like the most exciting parts of this mission happen at literally the end of it, and then the whole game becomes the game of Halo Infinite. So it's not the mission's fault. I think maybe I'm rating it too hard. I'm gonna go with a 7 for Chris. I feel like a bad person.
Don't be a bad person, please.
Yeah, I won't be a bad person.
Okay, good.
But I think looking back on it, it's kind of. I think I'm going to say this every episode. I can't believe how short some of the actual missions are. And I feel like, because I spent so much time in this game, I didn't realize that, like, the missions, like the quote unquote levels can be, like, incredibly short. And the game doesn't feel that way. But we knew this coming into Mission Debrief for Halo Infinite, that it was going to be weird. And I haven't gotten over how weird it's going to be. And Tremonius was like, awakening of like, oh man, this is 10 minutes, if even, like, do you know what I mean? You fly through it. So like I'll go with a 7. I'm talking too much. Talk too much, Colin.
I'm gonna be harsh. I'll give it 6. There's some cool
Oh,
stuff.
Colin, you saucy bastard.
You see some things and you do some things, but it's very basic. I just don't want to see this on a top 20 list.
Oh, definitely not.
Absolutely.
It's fine. It sets up stuff, and there's interesting conversations with Eshram, and then the door opens, which is a super cool moment. But there's not enough, else in the mission to bring it above for me. So, all right, so we got that out of the way. One more thing I wanted to correct. As I was thinking about doing some research for this show, I realized that in the very first episode, where we were listening to the audio log, what is it? It's where the Infinity is being evacuated, and we're kind of talking with the Lasky's there and a bunch of Spartans. We mistakenly assumed all those Spartans were Fire Team Taurus. They are not. So Griffin, who's I just mentioned in the intro, says he is the leader of Fire Team Taurus, and there's other Spartans that are with him, but the ones that were mentioned in that audio log that have audio dialogue aren't part of Taurus. So there's a bunch of other fire teams that are scattered throughout. So that was a little confusing, obviously, because we got confused trying to figure that out. But just doing a little more research and then more audio logs will bring some of that stuff to light. So anyway, not a huge deal, but at the same time, I don't want to make sure that we don't make sure that we're all on the same page. Cool. Let's start. Thank you.
Yes.
We just want to be thorough and correct as much as possible.
No, so I want to be incorrect as much as possible.
Wanted to bring that up quick. So what did we do last mission? We wandered around the fobs. We did the HVTs. And then there's this little diamond on the map that says recovery. So you need to go to that thing.
Colin, this diamond confused me so much for so long.
Me too.
It would never go away. It haunts me still.
It's just stuck.
Yeah. So you go there, and there's like dialogue that triggers when you're near the tower, but it has nothing to do with that diamond. All the diamond is doing is to try to get you to drive up that specific road, or walk up that specific road to then access the tower. So recovery is weird, and we'll talk about that at the very end of this too. But you essentially get up to the tower, right? And so if you enter in this way, there are there's some dialogue. So Weapon says, I guess tower was more than appropriate name. Look at this place. The signal's coming from within that main structure. Somewhere up top, we're going to need to find a way in. So the main way that they want you to go in is this road, and there's a door that you need to go into this little office area, push a button, and then like this door will open. You can also enter from the side. I think it's the north. There's a little secret door up there with some resistance up that way.
I love the secret door.
Yeah, secret doors are good. And then you can go all the way around the west and just kind of pop around and hop into. There's like a landing pad on the inside. Go ahead, David.
I was about to say, like, when you face the tower, there's a left and a right. And I love how this is like, the tower is like the introduction to like the open world of Halo, and the way you can like interact with like the tower, where you can face it straight on and fight through the middle. You can go to the right and come into a side entrance. But if you go left, you can climb up the cliffs. You can jump onto like a little mini tower, which has some enemies on it. And then you can kind of cannon shot your way over in. So I love the way that this...
That man cannon.
Yeah, there's like a man cannon, and there's 3 ways into the tower. And I love it that there are 3 completely different ways. They're completely different play styles. They offer you unique opportunities, and like the whole thing, we'll talk about it a little bit later, but like for how short it is, I'm super positive on how they introduced you to Halo's open world and giving you the tower as like the first main mission. Like as we spoke before, like you could get ready, capture the fobs, go take on some Marines. Like you have enough to do in the first area, looking at this big looming tower in the middle, like going to like this ambiguous signal. Like it's really well done, and I think the introduction to the mission is really well done, and I love how they opened it up to you and gave you options straight off the bat without you even realizing it.
Yeah, the tower. So it's you get a little flavor of that with the outpost that we had in the open world area, But in that, you just kind of
That's
grapple
true.
over the wall, and you just kind of go in and clear it out. But here it is more apparent that it's like it's specifically you can enter this way, or you can do these little side things if you want to go and do some exploring, which is cool. Which way did you go, David? Did you go through the front door?
Now, I'll tell you about the very first time I did this mission was probably my favorite time of doing it. So I might talk about that a little bit because the first time I came across the tower, I had just captured the third Marines. The ones with a down pelican that starts with a razorback. So like you don't have a lot of valor, you don't have a lot of stuff. So like I rescued those Marines, I flipped the razorback, and I filled it full of the Marines from that mission.
Yep.
And this was like my first encounter, and it was just the click in my brain was audible, Colin. If you were standing beside me, you could hear it. You could hear my brain click and go, "This is Halo. This is This is Halo Infinite, which is the razorback full of Marines." And I was like, "Oh shit, this is dope."
You can put
When I saw
Marines
myself
in a
getting
razorback.
Oh my god, me and 5 Marines. Oh my god, it's fucking glorious. So then I rescued those Marines, and at the time, I had because of the way I play open world games, I knew the main mission was a tower. I knew I had a small little island to explore, and I did everything. Did everything in this mission before I did the tower originally. So I was ready to fucking rock Colin when I was coming to the tower. Had a razorback. I was full of Marines, and when I drove in the entrance, and the first thing that happened was an achievement popped that went, "You bring Marines into a main mission of Halo." Right? And I felt that shiver, Colin. That adrenaline rush. That's just like, Phil Spencer came over and just plugged me full of cocaine and went like, "Oh yeah," it just felt good.
I've never gotten that.
Pulse. Do you know what? I'm not surprised, Krista, because you've also never gotten the achievement for like rescuing Marines because you're a horrible person.
What? You can
All
rescue
you do is murder them. I'm pretty sure you get to a Marine and Krista puts down her controller and just watches.
Yeah, I just watched them.
die slowly.
First I let them go in the middle of a horde of elites, and then I stand there and watch.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. So the very first time I took a razorback full of Marines, smashed through the middle. There's Marines to rescue on your left as soon as you go in.
Yep.
I rescue them. All of a sudden, I have like 9 Marines, Colin. And I'm like, holy,
dope.
this is crazy. This is
Yeah.
mental. Like, they don't all follow you. I think you have a limit to the amount that will follow you. It might actually be 5, like a razorback.
Yeah.
I don't think any more than that will like follow you. They'll just kind of dick around and do their own thing. And I did everything on the outside. I was very meticulous, slowly working myself into the tower. So like I knocked down the main door, brought my Marines in, just like brutes and like grunts everywhere. Like it's really well set up. Like it's cool. Like it is really well done. That's kind of how I did it. Like really, like I was a mess. The first time around, I just smashed in through Marines.
Down, right?
Marines everywhere. Kicked the door down. It was awful.
I love it.
But I loved it.
You mentioned and this is a question. I don't know if you guys know the answer, but so there's those Marines that you save that are like tied up with the energy whips or whatever they're called. So when I went and saved them today for the mission, I'm playing on heroic. There's only 2 of them, but I'm wondering if that changes on the difficulty. Like you can save more. It's just a question. Maybe we'll do some research on that. But it would be interesting, like if that scaled. Like on the easier difficulties, there would be 4, and on the harder there's like 1 or 2. Anyway, that's awesome that you brought the horde in to it. Krista, what was your approach to get into this thing?
I grappled onto one of the sniper outposts and just kept stealing snipers.
Yep, just sniping everybody.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I had a Mauler and I had the stalker rifle, and I kind of just did that until I ran out of ammo, and then I panicked and just picked up anything.
Yep. And this is a perfect mission for that, right? Because there is so many enemies, so many different weapons involved, and it's a wide open area. But you can also go hunker down, right? Like, so there's lots of little buildings down below in this yard area, so you can go and hide in there if you want to. And there will be reinforcements along the way. So once you reach certain points, so when you get in, actually, let me touch on this first. When you approach the tower, you do get that little like, hey, it's the tower mission, displayed on your screen, and it tells you your collectibles. So there's 1 Mjolnir armory, there's 1 banished audio log, 1 UNSC audio log, 2 Spartan cores, and 1 skull. So we'll cover all that stuff as a part of this mission. Well, I guess while I'm thinking of it, it's annoying to me that the Mjolnir armories don't stay unlocked. Like the audio logs stay unlocked, but why don't the Mjolnir armories stay unlocked? Because it's a multiplayer.
I don't like that.
Yeah,
that's really annoying. Because I remember the first time around, I was like, ooh, am I getting more unlocks?
Right.
Like,
Nope.
It's the same thing again. There's no there's no reason to do it again.
Yeah.
Yeah, they should remove those from the game once you get them.
Yeah, just kind of like the audio logs, just make them go dark. Anyway, so you got a bunch of stuff to unlock here, but the first thing you need to do is, so you go in, and then Chaklock talks to you. This big, giant hologram of this Sangheili. He says hello. He says, so the demon is here. Did you think I would let you walk right into my tower? My tower? I think not. My facility is locked down. There's nothing you can do here except die. Mwahaha. And then
like literally the next sentence is, "Oh, go over here and push this button and unlock everything."
Yep, exactly.
I was like, "All right, dude. Thanks very much."
Yep. John's comment is, he seems confident, which is good. He's got a couple good one-liners in this. And then, so then, exactly, Weapon says, go over here, and you just kind of have to turn around the corner. Obviously, take out some of the enemies. It's really just jackals, brutes, grunts, a couple captains maybe pop in. But, and some berserkers do come in eventually, and they chase you around. But for the most part, you just have to go into this building. You climb up to the left and up the ramp, and then I think you just hit a button, right? You hit the button, and then the little hologram of the tower that's in lockdown goes from red to green, and now it's not on lockdown anymore.
Yay!
Exactly. And then, but the gravity lift is not active yet, so you do have to go do that.
Just on that though, Colin, like the comment she makes about like he's got a bad reputation, and Chief goes, "Neither do I."
Oh yeah.
Or, like, so do I, or some kind of some shit like I'm like, oh, spicy Chief. I'm all about it.
Yep, exactly. That's very good. Okay, so let's talk about some quick collectibles before we go do the grav lift. So let's see here. So the banished audio log, there is one down in the yard. It's in one of the buildings. So Krista will cover that later, since Matt isn't able to join us today. And then there is a Spartan core. Where is the Spartan core? It is down below. Oh, it's right below the where you do hit the button for the gravity lift. So there's a Spartan core tucked away in the building there. So there's two of them. Excuse me. And then the Mjolnir Armory is like under the landing pad on the far end of the yard. You go down there and you grab the Mjolnir Armory. So there's a couple of our collectibles for that. And the Mjolnir Armory is Midnight Griffin's Mark 7 armor coating.
Ooh.
So get a nice sexy armor coating for your Mark 7 core, which is nice. All right. So after you do reduce, or I guess release the lockdown, you actually go. I don't know. Did you guys go down that? There's a little hole in that building. You can go down to the hole, and then like you can kind of go out the underneath area.
No, I went up.
Okay.
This feels weird. I feel like you should be able to come at this area underneath and up. I don't know why they make you do the opposite way. It doesn't feel like there's any point in doing that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, there really isn't. So you go down this hole, and then there's one of those, I don't know, fuses that you got to punch, and then it will open this little door underneath. So then you go out that door, and that's when the berserkers will come in, and there's three of them, and they'll do their berserker thing. I think I had a rocket launcher, which I gave to them. Well, I gave my rockets to them, and they died quickly.
That's what you get.
That's right. And then you just get a little waypoint to go up and hit a button up on the kind of the ramp area on the right side of the tower. So you got to go do that, and then that will activate the gravity lift. And then a bunch of reinforcements come in, and you can either run for the gravity lift or sit there and take out all the reinforcements. David, what did you do? Did you go for the gravity lift?
I always stay and fight. This fight is cool,
clear
yeah.
Everything out.
Because like every time I do this, I have Marines, I've got weapons, and I'm like, yeah, I'm ready for this, and it's pretty cool. Yeah, it's pretty.
There's a couple sets of Marines in there too, right? I
There's
know
two.
at least one.
There's one at the
Yeah.
entrance and there's one in the middle. Sets of
Yep.
I would say like 2 or 3 Marines, and at the second set there's like there's a rocket launcher underneath there, pretty close. So like when you free them, one of them like legs it to the rocket launcher, which is pretty cool. So I do like that, and I like this area. I like the whole underground area. It's pretty cool. It's pretty well laid out, and like you said, like a Phantom comes in, you get the of the Phantom. So it's well done. No, I always stay in fight. What annoys me, is that and I guess this is a general AI comment in Halo Infinite. Like the Marines don't do a whole lot, which is kind of disappointing. Like they don't go up grav lifts, they don't drive vehicles and stuff. So like I was initially disappointed in this mission, that like they don't follow you. But having said that, they do remain behind. So afterwards, you can come and get them and bring them places, which I always do. So I like that.
They're smart enough not to go into the tower.
Are they smart, Krista? Are they?
Have you seen the end fight? I mean, they would have been skewered.
I don't know,
sliced
man.
up.
Maybe
chop.
your Marines, Krista, and my Marines are good Marines. Okay.
My Marines are dead before we even get to the tower.
Exactly.
They do absorb some damage, though. You got to give it to them. Like they can take some shots before they go down.
Meat shields.
That's right. All right. So, Krista, did you go up? Did you do clear, or do you just run for the gravity lift?
Nah, I just run into the gravity lift.
Yeah, that's kind of what I did. Like, oh, I can skip some things. I'm gonna go do that. Once you go up the gravity lift, you do find the source of the signal, and as I mentioned in the intro, you have an empty set of Mjolnir armor right in front of you, and it is Spartan Griffin's armor. You learn, and you do get his threat sensor, which comes in handy in a little bit. I do like, so this is the second one we found, right? We found, was it Benita Stone? She gave us the armor upgrade.
Yeah, the shield upgrade.
The shield upgrade. And so now we get the threat sensors. Now we have that. And at this point, playing now and being more thorough than I did in my first mission, or first playthrough, I had a ton of Spartan cores. So what I did is I unlocked everything on my grapple shot right away. So that's all beefed up.
Hell yeah.
Now I'm able to start putting stuff into the second upgrade. So I think I did one threat sensor. So now and that initial upgrade for threat sensor is huge because it gives you an additional 50% radius. So we get the threat sensor, and the threat sensor can be upgraded multiple ways, just like our other stuff. So I want to go through that as we've covered off on the other cores that we've gotten. So the first one is the Seeker, and that increases the as I said, the radius by 50%, which is huge. It's actually a big difference from what the normal size radius is. So you fire that thing off, and then it lets off this red emission, I guess, and you can see all of the enemies that are before. So for whatever reason, your scanner, it sees weapons and Spartan cores and audio logs, but it can't see the enemy. So this
always felt weird to me. This was such a weird thing to implement the threat sensor and have a scan pulse at the same time. I'm like, I was thought maybe just upgrade your scan to be the threat sensor or whatever. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? If it always felt wrong to me this whole game that the threat sensor was a separate device to the scan.
Yeah, it gives you, I guess, a reason to juggle your equipment, but why? Yeah, why can't you just?
Colin, we've already given out about so many times about juggling equipment in this game. Like they shouldn't have had you do this. It should just be the threat, the sensor, the scan.
Yeah.
I will say, playing this game with the bandana skull, this thing is so broken because you have infinite threat sensors that you can just pulse out.
Oh, dang.
Now,
yeah.
Because there's no cooldown, so you fire one, it threat sensors. If you fire a second one, it deletes the first one. So like you don't have infinite everywhere. Do you know what I mean? It cancels. Now I can't wait to get the upgrade to 2 to see if I can fire 2 before it deletes the first one and what happens there, which is really interesting. But playing this level of mission with the bandana is pretty cool because you can just fire threat sensors everywhere you want, left, right, and center.
That sounds amazing.
Left, right, and center. That's really clever. I thought that just now.
nice.
It's cool.
All right, so Seeker costs 1 Spartan core. The Operative upgrade costs 2 Spartan cores, and that adds a second charge to your threat sensor. So bang, bang, that's as David was saying. The third upgrade is Clairvoyant, which is 3 Spartan cores, and that reduces the threat sensor cooldown by 40%, so you can fire them off quicker, which is handy. And then the last one is Omniscience, and that's 3 Spartan cores, and that adds uninterrupted enemy visibility to the threat sensor and reveals their health, which is cool.
The health thing is a weird thing to think about. The fact that you can see any enemy's health bar in Halo.
Grunts.
The fact that they have health bars in the background is pretty cool. But like seeing it is so weird.
Yeah. It would come in handy for those big beefy guys that we meet later, or hunters.
Oh, 100%.
Hunters. Like I'd love to see their
100%.
health bar.
Oh my god.
Yeah, exactly. Did you, but outside of this mission, which you need to use, and we'll talk about that later, Krista, did you use the threat sensor much?
Only for camo elites, really.
Yeah.
I didn't really use it. And honestly, most of the time, 99% of the time, I had the grappling hook equipped. I didn't use anything else.
Yeah. The threat sensor, so you can hit somebody with it, right? Like you can stick it to them?
Yes, you
like
can. It's very helpful.
And it does do a little damage. So I don't know if I've killed an enemy with it, but I know like in multiplayer you can like finish somebody off with a threat sensor, which is pretty funny.
That's pretty cool. Weirdly, like it's funny, like looking at all the upgrades that you can get in the game, the threat sensor was my least interesting one, but weirdly enough, I'd say it was my second most used one. Like throughout the game, I really got used to using it in like the correct situations and really appreciated like what it allowed you to do, which was pretty cool because obviously the correct way to play Halo is 100% all your points into the grapple.
Yep.
And then whatever the hell you want after that.
It's grapple,
and,
shields, and then whatever else.
Yeah.
Whatever else, yeah. And like it was weird. Like once I got the 2 threat sensors, I was like, oh, I was liking this a lot. Like sneaking up on FOBs and pulsing 2 shots in to see like, okay, what can I see? What am I looking at? Like I really appreciated that and how it kind of changed how I approach certain situations. And I loved it. No, I did. I really liked the threat sensor in the end.
Yeah, once you get used to it and just like add that to your combat loop
Your
mixture,
repertoire,
like the recipe, it does come in super handy. I see a lot of people using it in multiplayer too, more than I pick up a thread sensor and I throw it away, but people just ping that thing off, and it comes in pretty handy. All right, so we peel off. Well, he doesn't need it anymore because his armor is there. So we peel off his threat sensor. We now have that in our equipment arsenal, and then now we're in the tower and it's dark and kind of scary. A door opens and a berserker comes out and comes at you right away. So you got to take him out, and then you're just kind of winding around this tower. There's 3 levels. And there's some stuff to find along the way. Like you can refill your ammo. There's plenty of coils all over the place. There's grunts, some jackals and brutes. It's not too terrible. You can find another Spartan core. There's a Spartan core on the the third tower, the 3rd level.
I think so. Yeah.
Spartan core is all the way at the top, and then on the 2nd level, excuse me, there's an audio log, and that's a UNSC audio log. And Chris will cover that off on that later. We get to the top, and then there's a door that, well, actually, you can see. I guess, do you guys want to talk about the climb through this little tower? You just kind of wind up around the ramps. Anything interesting there?
Not really. I mean, the setting is cool.
Yeah.
It's really red.
It really.
It's
yeah. They really do like. I didn't realize it at the time, but looking back, like they are trying to teach you like use the threat sensor, dummy. And like they reduce your visibility, right. They give you like multiple floors and multiple areas, and the first thing you do when you get up into the tower is you get a threat sensor, and then it's like, okay, just ping that shit everywhere, and you realize, okay, I can't see very far because of the low lighting and the fog and stuff, so like you ping your threat sensor and you can see stuff, and like, oh, this is cool. And there's 3 floors I think, and 2 of them have enemies on them, and they're not terribly interesting, but it is kind of like, okay, you fight your way up this tower and you get to the
but
end.
It's not like
it is what it
like
is.
When you think of tower, you think of like 100 floors or something like that, right? I mean, granted, it's big. It's a big structure and it stands out. It is a tower, but like the climb, there's not a whole lot to it, right? Like
No, the bulk of the gameplay is outside the tower, to be honest.
Yeah. No, there's no elevator, which is nice. I mean, I like a good elevator ride in a video game, but
I like no,
Mass
you don't,
Effect
Colin.
1?
Don't like a good
Do I have a
elevator.
game for you,
Listen to
Colin?
this
Wow.
clown. I actually appreciate how it's uninterrupted, fighting up to the tower, up the grab lift, into the tower, up to the end of the boss. Like nothing. It's just you just do it all in one. Nice
Yeah,
and
that
clean.
is nice.
I think that's real nice.
yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, no cutscene, right? Well, there's a little.
there's
bit of a
one,
cutscene
yeah.
To grab that thing.
Yeah.
But there's no loading or anything like that in between, like
Mm-hmm.
when you get in the grav lift or anything like that.
Yeah. So you get to the top and you wind around and you hear some grunts and some pain, and you see this. I don't know. You see a guy, and it turns out it's Spartan Hudson, and he's in there and he's being tortured.
He's
or
doing some
held
kinky
hostage.
shit. It's weird.
Doing some crazy yoga. It's some hot yoga.
Shock therapy.
Yeah, exactly. So there's like this shield in front of him, and it doesn't look comfortable at all. And you push the button to open the door, and then David, you want to take it from here? We meet our friend that we met outside. We meet the real version of him.
Sorry, yeah. This is pretty cool. You're introduced to Lore, who
Chaklock.
is Chaklock, if you will. He's a pretty cool elite, and it's a very quick cutscene, but I appreciate it that like even the weapon is kind of building you up that this guy's a bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
The tower is not what we think it is. It is a place where humans are brought to be interrogated and information extracted from, and there's an elite in charge of this, which is interesting because we've not seen that side of elites other than like as being like these are like super cool like devout warriors. They're like they have a code, and here's a guy torturing people. That's not a thing you think of that elites do. And I thought that was really cool. It was really good to see like the bad side of the elites, and you have this character, and he is cool. He's disposed of pretty quickly though. But I like the setup of what the tower is and what's happening here. Like you break through the doors, you see this elite. He has a sword. He's like, "Welcome to my tower. I'm gonna fuck you up and get all your secrets." And you're like,
His
"Fuck
mannerisms
you,
are so good. Like that cutscene where he's like taunting you, just the way he moves and stuff like that. I'm like, oh my god, that is an elite. He's oh my god.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's unnecessarily flipping around this place. I'm like,
It's so cool.
dude,
Oh,
your
he like
flips.
grabs onto something
Um,
and swings around while he's taunting you.
Yeah. He's got cool armor and he has a special sword and it's really cool. And he's not the first time I don't think in the game, but he's pretty close to being like. I think it is actually. This is the first time you were encountered active camo.
Yes.
And we've said it a few times. Like the active camo in Halo Infinite is no fucking joke. They fixed it. Like when they're camoed, they're fucking camoed. Like you don't see shit. And obviously we've just introduced to the threat sensor, which is the whole point. But like the cutscene's very quick here, so like straight away you're into a boss fight. And I don't know who wants to talk through that column, but like the boss fight.
Go ahead. Yeah, keep going.
Yeah, this boss fight the first time around took me totally off guard. I knew you were building up to something in the tower. I knew there was boss fights in Halo. This is the second boss fight after Tremonius, and it's very different.
Mm-hmm.
You are in cramped quarters, but like the walls of the area open out. There's weapons around you. 343 or no, like boss fight equals weapon dump, and I like that. I like give me shit everywhere to pick up and as you run. It's a structure. He's invisible all the time, almost all the time. But there are different fuel cells around that help a lot. If you have I'm forgetting the name, the electric grenades, they help a lot. Yeah, you need to stun him. He's running around in stealth, so you need to ping your threat sensor all the time, just to see where he is and stuff like that, which really helps a huge amount. There's weapons around, obviously, to fight him. Grenades are huge here. On Legendary, he fucks you up. God, he is tough, but like he's not bad tough. I appreciate a sword is going to kill you in one hit. Like there's ways around it. You can kind of deal with that in this environment. It's well done. He's a good fight. He's an intimidating guy, and like I will say that once you get his shield down, he flops.
Yeah,
really
and I don't think his shield
Yeah, he
recharges,
really
does
quick.
it?
I'm
think
not
it does.
sure.
If you leave him alone, it'll recharge.
Okay. It must be a
Yeah.
while, though,
Yeah.
because his shield
Yeah.
never recharged for me.
No?
Yeah, Jagan definitely
Oh,
does.
yeah.
I've noticed that. This guy's a different. He's not Jagan, not even close to this guy. Like, oh my god! But it's kind of hilarious how it's a similar fight, but feels completely differently. We'll probably talk about that when we actually get there. But this guy you deal with pretty efficiently.
Can we
once
talk
you get the
about
hang of it.
his sword lunge? Because it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
He goes
Yeah.
across the entire fucking map. And it's terrifying.
Yeah, he
Oh
knows.
my
how to
god,
launch.
I'm just running away from him with the grappling hook the entire time.
Well, and is it a one-hit kill too, or is it two?
It depends what difficulty.
Maybe not on normal. Maybe
I'm
not
on
on normal.
heroic
I
and
can't
it's
remember.
not a one-hit kill, but 2 hits will kill you.
Yeah. So if he's nearby, you just have to run away from him the entire time. Use that threat sensor, figure out kind of where he is, and then I was just hucking coils.
Oh,
just
that's
hucking
the
coils, 'cause
best.
Then
And he gets
he
really
kind of
pissed.
vibrates. Yeah, he gets very.
He's like,
grunts
what
a
the
lot.
fuck?
I had a BR and a shotgun. I feel like that wasn't the best combo, but BR is okay. But shotgun, you need to be close. Do you remember, Krista, what you were using?
I actually did use the bulldog because I would hit him with
okay.
the fusion coil, and then I'd get off a couple shots right in his fucking face, and then I'd grapple away. I was going through between the grapple and the sensor quite a bit. So I did that until I ran out, and then I had like a mauler, and I think there's a BR in the room, so I kind of just stuck to that.
Yeah, there's a bunch of weapons on the wall, so you can grab pretty much anything that you want. Any weapons that you found effective, David?
Shotguns are good. I don't think anything really stood out to me
Okay.
here. I don't think I had like good weapons
Yeah,
fighting
that's
him
the thing.
like at
If you don't
any
know
stage.
what's coming, you're like, oh crap.
Yeah.
I should have carried the skewer all the way up there.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how well that did against the shield, because this shield's pretty beefy. It takes a while.
It is.
I feel like I melee him a lot.
What?
Really?
Like
You're
I feel like
crazy.
once he's close to me, that I'm always punching him. Yeah, I feel like I am. I feel like that's just instinctive.
Do you do the grapple shot punch where you stun him? Like, did you have it all the way upgraded?
In my first playthrough, yes, I went hardcore into the grapple, and like every time I could, I grappled people. I stunned them with the electrics, which is it's a great upgrade. And when you realize that like you're upgrading and you're stunning him, and you can jump in for a lunge, you get kind of a free hit. You use that a lot. That helps on normal. On legendary, that's pointless. Because once you're in close to them, they one hit kill you. So like you're not playing the game the same way.
Yep. Yeah, true. All right, so we dispatch of Chaklock. One time that I died, because I just want to mention this. Escharum talks about legend, right? In like previous encounters when he's taunting us, and I want you to know my legend, right? At one point when I died, he does talk about like, this is where your legend ends, or something like, now I'm part of your legend, or something like that. So that seems to be a theme with the Banished, which I think is pretty cool. So we dispatch him. We can grab his energy sword if you want, and then you go over and save your pal who's in rough shape, Hudson Griffin. And he is, as I mentioned at the beginning, he is the fireteam leader of Fireteam Taurus, one of the Spartans that's been scattered throughout the ring. He was, for whatever reason, he got picked up and he's being tortured. I guess we don't really know what he's being tortured for.
Being a Spartan?
Yeah, just being a Spartan, I guess. And there's a really heartfelt moment here, though. Krista, do you want to talk about this?
Sure, I'll talk about this. It's basically just a death conversation of Griffin, like, asking where the other Spartans are, Master Chief promising to find them, and then him expiring. And in Master Chief's arms, and there's this long period of silence after that happens, like, really long. And it's just kind of panning around, and you can kind of see the weapon materialize and see him in his visor, and she starts to say some stuff, and he's just quiet, and then eventually he just says, "Let's go." Mm-hmm. It's really touching. It's because Master Chief doesn't show emotions like a normal person would, but his long periods of silence and staring and not doing something is really telling to his character and what he's feeling at that moment. And it's really nice that he has such a kinship with these Spartan 4s. I think we all weren't sure how he would take the news that there were more Spartans, but it seems to me that he's really adopted them into his team and considers them, just comrades and on the same level as him. He considers them true Spartans, I would think.
Mm-hmm.
I think Kelly's gay book is going to answer a bunch of questions for us. I'm gonna build this out. I think that's what I like the Rubicon Protocol is going to be. Also, a massive shout out has to go to your controller in this moment. I don't know if your controller that vibrates to Griffin's heartbeat and slows down and finishes when he dies.
Oh, does it do that?
I wasn't ready. Chris, I was holding my elite, and like as Chief touches Griffin, it starts vibrating, and it vibrates to his heartbeat, and you hear his heartbeat, and you feel his controller, and fuck's sake, you feel him die.
Oh man,
I wasn't ready for this. I was like, I don't know who this guy is, and why am I giving a shit? And I was like, holy shit, this guy's like, I feel the controller vibrating as he dies, and it's like, it's crazy. Like, it's fucking, like, in that moment, they had me so hard about the Spartan I knew nothing about. And, like, how John treats him, how he reacts to him, how he's just dead, the way he touches him and holds him. And, like, the pilot's screaming, and the weapon is trying to talk to you, and John is just ignoring all of them. Because he's, like, he's in this fucking moment of this dude dying in front of him. I was like, holy shit, it had me. It had me 100%. Really
playing on keyboard and mouse, you really miss those little details when it comes to the what is it, the haptic on the controllers.
Playing incorrectly. Is that what you mean?
Look, the mouse and keyboard is very accurate though, and once you get used to it, it's good. Though after a while, my hands start to hurt because they're not used to it.
Krista, you didn't feel a Spartan die, okay? I felt
you are scarred.
I was touched.
I would say that these emotional moments are akin to Halo 4, right? Like early on here, and there's more to come. But
yeah,
early
it
on
feels
here, it's like, oof, this is heavy.
I almost want to say they're better than Halo 4s.
Man, they might be. But I feel like they missed a beat, and I feel like I want to say like probably Rubicon Protocol should have come out before this game. I feel like that book is going to build up these characters, these other Spartans that we don't know a whole lot about. I mean, if you had listened to like all of the audio logs and then went back and played the game, the shit that happens in the game means a whole lot more.
Yeah. And
I feel like there's a link term, there's a sequence of events that should happen before you get here. And I feel like makes these moments way better.
I think the good thing about them releasing Rubicon Protocol after Halo Infinite is that once we read that book, we're going to instantly want to go back into Halo Infinite and play it again. And I think that might have been the theory of releasing it after.
Yeah, that's a good point. So we have our sad moment. Now we can go. Well, actually, we can go use his armor now. I wonder if it's better than Chief's armor. He's not using it.
Chief's gonna strip.
Okay, so now here's kind of the other call out is, and David, you touched on this, but the pilot Echo 216, he's like yelling at you because Chief isn't moving, right? So he's like, hey, you can't see you move. He's used to seeing this little red dot going all over his map. He's like, you're not moving. What's going on? Tell me. So he's like freaking out because Chief is having this moment. And then Chief is like, all right, we got to go. So the mission is essentially done. The door on the side of the tower opens up, and you overlook a bridge that has been not extended. It will extend. I guess I'll say it now. The once you jump down and kind of have feet on the ground and get close to that bridge, the bridge will extend, and then that's going to be our new open world area that we'll talk about in a couple of the next episodes. So we have our next next things to talk about. Hudson does, in his dying breath, he talks about kind of there's a dig site that's where
Griffin. You mean, dude?
What did I say?
You said Hudson.
It's Hudson Griffin. Yeah, Hudson Griffin.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
So in his dying words, he says, "There's a dig site. He got caught by this dig site because the dig site was overlooking a conservatory, and so there's like a Forerunner installation, and then the weapon kind of puts all this together and is curious, like, okay, what's going on over there? That's kind of our next place we got to go check out. So that's kind of your marching orders coming out of this mission." From a player standpoint, as you're leaving this, this chamber here, then you do get mission complete, the tower, and then after that, you get mission complete recovery, which is so weird. I don't understand it. I guess because the object of recovery was to find the signal, and now I guess you've found the signal or verified that it was from Griffin. It's just bizarre. So now that little diamond should go away on your map after you do this, but it's just strange. All right. Any other thoughts before we get into some of the other good stuff, our commentary and audio stuff?
No, not really. It's a good mission. I think start to finish. The middle, like the actual climbing the tower, is a bit kind of whatever. But I think the fight up to it's really good. The ending is like super fucking heavy out of nowhere. That kind of got me. And I know it's good. It's a cool map. It's a cool structure. It's a good introduction to like the way you can tackle Halo Infinite's missions. It's good.
Give me a rating, David, before I forget.
Really, I'm pretty high on the tower.
9.
Now that I've talked about it and played it. Man, 8 or 9 is pretty
Really?
good. Like, do you know what I mean? I feel really good about it. Like, I've played this mission a good few times now. This playthrough, I'm about my 4th playthrough through the campaign, and even on Legendary, I loved it. I had a super fun time tackling it from different angles, and it just feels really well balanced. It's a great mission with like a good boss fight, a good story. It's really well balanced. I mean, the negatives would be the fact that it's pretty short. I don't know. It's good, man. I'm gonna go with 8. I think.
8. All right, Krista.
8 + 1 for the memes.
Oh, memes. What are the
The
memes,
welcome to
Krista?
my tower memes.
All right. Okay.
It was plaguing the internet for like 3 days. It was great. And the Blizzard Activision thing happened during that meme, so it was Phil Spencer being like, "Welcome to my tower, Activision and Blizzard." The memes, mwah, gorgeous, love them. On a guess serious note, if I have that in my being, I don't. So I like the approach to the tower, and I like the wave of enemies, and I do like that you can choose whether to clear out the enemies or not. I wish that something would have happened, because you can just fly out of the top of the tower, you don't have to go back and deal with the enemies that you left there. I thought it might be cool that you actually have to deal with them. That way, like, there's more incentive to actually kill all the enemies, but I like that. I don't like the punchy boys. I don't like them at all. They follow me, and it's creepy.
Yeah.
And they punch me. And then I try to stand on something, and then they go hide. I don't like them at all. They're mean. Also, like, the boss is just so cool. He's so cool. I love a good elite. I love it.
I would love it I mean, you see Tremonius a little bit before you fight him, and then I guess you see Checklock with the what do they call it? The big hologram thing. There it is, hologram. Thank you. You see the hologram. He gives you a little bit of dialogue. It would have been nice to have this maybe a little bit more character development before you have the fight, but it is what it is. He's still cool.
I think you have more of an investment with this boss because he is holding Spartan Griffin. So there definitely is a little bit more of a connection with this boss rather than Tremonius that just shows up and he's basically just a nuisance in your path to finishing off the mission. This guy is the mission. He's done something horrible. We need to go save our fellow Spartan. I just feel like there's more of an incentive around just him as a boss and a character in general.
That's good. That's a good point. Good counterpoint. So you're at an 8, Krista?
Yeah, I'm at an 8. Plus
Okay,
1 for me.
I'm gonna go. I mean, the emotional weight is good. I'm gonna go 7 just because it's short.
Ah.
I do like a lot of it. The encounters aren't too terribly interesting. I'm a low guy. I'm a low score guy today. And then we'll get Matt's eventually, his scores. All right, let's jump into audio logs, and then we'll do our community, and we'll get out of here. Krista's going to cover them for today. We have 2. We have a banished one, and we have a UNSC one. Let's do UNSC first, Krista.
Okay, UNSC first.
They called it a Silex. Sure. I call it something that should have been left well enough alone. The elites, the jackals, even the damn brutes seemed scared of what was inside. Escharum, their leader, he just stood and watched as they held my hand against it.
Oh, you poor bastard.
Because he's a reclaimer, right? He's a human.
Yeah, I mean,
They had to use the human touch.
It's interesting to see how much humans are coveted just for their hands so that they can unlock Forerunner tech.
Right. Exactly.
Ugh.
It's interesting though, because like when you think about it, the Forerunners had plans, but their plans did not go as planned.
No, their plans weren't very good.
Yeah. So he has unlocked this mysterious Silex. All right, Krista, what's the banished one say?
The Banished. Escherum's Testimony 3, Harbinger.
The Harbinger is free. I do not trust her, but I must believe in Atriox's plan. His sacrifice must not have been in vain. Especially now. His faith in what we learned on the Ark is all I need. The Harbinger is but a first move to secure our position, our future. Did Cortana know about all this when she chose this ring? Did she expect it would be her doom also? As I look upon this endless world, that question consumes me.
This guy's quite a philosopher.
He is. He's a thinker. I like how these two audio logs play together, right? So
Yes.
it's the human unlocking this, and this is titled the Harbinger, and they mention the Harbinger, so the human unlocked the Harbinger. We still don't know much about that. David, what's your take on this? I think the Cortana mention's interesting as well.
I wish this stuff wasn't buried in audio logs, and that's my general opinion of all the audio logs in Halo Infinite, because they contain such fucking important information, and they're a little bit buried and they're a little bit sidelined. I mean, the Harbinger and who she is, where she came from, is vital to the story, and you could miss it. You could totally be clueless as to what the hell's going on. The prisoner stuff is like some of the best audio log stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like that's really cool, and like who Escharum is obviously one of the main characters in the whole game, and like some of his best stuff is in these logs and stuff, and it builds another side to his character that means like when you see him on screen, you're kind of like, oh dude, you're so fake right now, because you're actually like emotionally and maybe even physically a little bit crippled. And like it adds such extra weight to the stuff he says and the way he does it, and so I love it all. I just feel really bad that it's kind of sidelined.
Yep.
It's good stuff. These are great audio logs. I love them.
Krista, what do you think about the comment, the call out that did Cortana know all this when she chose this ring? How do you react to that?
But we don't really know even why Cortana came here. Do you know what I mean?
Not at this point, like, obviously no spoilers.
Yeah.
But not at this point. We have
yeah.
I mean,
yeah, it's true.
from what we know about Cortana up into listening to this audio log, we know she's somehow integrated with the domain. And this information has to be somewhere within it. So I don't know whether she came to this ring because of the Silexes and what was contained in them, or if she came to this ring because it is technically the most powerful of all of the rings, because it was part of the original array that was a little more beefy than the current array that we experience in the Halo games.
Mm-hmm.
Also, this ring has a lot of history. There's a lot of like power crystals and weird shit like that on this ring. There's some really weird shit on this ring that could benefit her endeavors. So, I mean, there's a lot of secrets to this ring, and there's obviously the Forerunners put a lot of stake in the stuff they put on this ring, and it has quite an interesting history. So, I'm sure all of that combined is one of the reasons why Cortana came here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's more to talk about, so I don't want to get too in depth, but it's David brings up a good point. It's buried in this, and it should have been brought to the light somehow, either through in-game dialogue or an in-game cutscene. Some of the stuff just to help the players that aren't going to dig into this stuff. These audio logs, even just the few that we've gotten into, are way better than the Halo 5 ones, which were some of them were interesting, but it was a lot of fluff in those 117 audio logs.
I don't know. When the grunt talked, it was some of the best lore. I mean, oh my goodness.
So I feel like they heard the fans. They're like, how do we make these more meaningful? And they have, but maybe they made them too meaningful. I don't know. All right, let's get into our community questions. All right, Krista, why don't you take Discord first? What did Discord have to say?
All right, Colin, February 2nd, 2022 at 10:45 a.m. Oh, an early riser, I see. I call my threat sensor blank because it finds all the aliens I'm about to kill. Question for Mission Debrief Halo Infinite, the Tower Mission. Jedi Spartan, classic sensor McSensor face. Classic internet reference. Matt, bad guy die time.
That's good.
Rye says useless except for the 2 times they make you use it. Toki is calling it Esteban.
Yeah.
Dezuto is calling it a pussy magnet.
That one got me. I laughed at that one.
Chad Smith Dad says little bitch radar. Soloaclo says get ready to die. I get paid to see Dad says I call it MPFYL or Man Portable Fuck You Launcher. It's because whenever I use it, I'll probably get fucked over.
Nice.
Jedi Spartan says, what time specifically will you be recording Mission Debrief tomorrow? We're recording it right now. Okay, so that's good. And now they're just not talking about anything. They're not on topic at all. They're just Mission Debrief got me here. Have fun playing. So thanks, guys. Is there a
They
debrief
derailed.
podcast for Infinite as well? No, there isn't. Sorry about that.
All right, beautiful. Thank you, Discord, as always. David, can you hit us with some Facebook goodness?
I can indeed, Colin, because Mr. Colin Perkins, the admin, February 2nd at 3:45 p.m. I call my threat sensor blank space because it finds all the aliens I'm about to kill. Open bracket, question for Mission Debrief, Hello Infinite, the Tower Mission, close bracket. A picture of an unusual object that may or may not be the threat sensor. I don't know if I trust Colin after his previous picture choices. But we'll roll with it for now. We'll trust him that this picture is, in fact, the threat sensor. Is it, Colin?
It is. It's weird looking.
It is, okay. It is weird looking. Considering the fact how you fire it doesn't look anything like I thought it would. Anyhow, we have Lucas Fitzer, who keeps the Facebook alive. Either dog meat, like from Fallout, or peekaboo, which is pretty good.
Dog meat's good.
Dog meat is pretty good. Dog meat's pretty good. Alexander says, hello, kitty.
I love that.
Steve Fox says, you're it, because I tend to tag people and vehicles and weapons with it. Can you tag weapons with it? Maybe you can. It doesn't show anything though, right?
I don't know.
This is a multiplayer. This does something in multiplayer, I'm not sure. Brad says, God's own anti-son of a bitch machine. Because fuck them leapfrogging squid faces and their shiny glowing poke sticks. Very
Wow,
aggressive,
that's
Brad.
amazing.
Yeah, very specific as well. I like the descriptiveness of that. Clyde says, wear and tear. Where are they? Tear them apart. Good shit,
Ooh,
Clyde. I like that. Put some
Yeah.
thought in there. Patrick says, sneakers regret, which is pretty good. Matthew says, Candace. Runner-up name was Bofa.
Candace.
Candace, yeah, Candace. Dave says, the curtain Twitter, because them see exclamation mark. Never miss a trick. Jamie says, I call it crap. I've switched to the wrong equipment, which is probably the correct answer. Well done, Jamie. And it has like the biggest responses. So like everybody knows the hurt that you feel trying to press all 17 million buttons you need to press to change equipment in Halo Infinite. Eric says, I call mine Natasha. Manny, teabag detector. Dickie says, the Dick Buster 3000. Because I'm gonna butt some dicks, but
God.
like aggressively with violence. I ain't gonna jerk anyone off or anything like that. Justin Kelly, bitch, gonna be busting a nut. Just getting their dick busted. Can I have another go?
When did the Facebook
Oh,
become
Dickie.
Discord? God damn it.
That's so funny. Yeah, that's so funny. He just digressed really
That's
hard,
amazing.
really fast. Lance said, used for invisible elite boss fight and never used it again. Alright, Lance, that's fair enough. Also, probably, I would say, highly, probably everybody else and did the same, probably, most likely. John T says, a beep bop found you sensor because of the cool noise it makes. I love it. It does make a good
Yeah, I
noise.
like
It's
it.
a satisfying noise. Luke then says, the Covenant Daddy. And finally, Storm in for the win. Tickle me emo, because I like tickling me with my bullets. Or here's Johnny from The Shining. Or the kneecap buster, because I'm about to break some kneecap with my gravity hammer. Mwah.
That was more than one
Thank
answer,
you very
so.
much. Yeah, that was all one
We
answer
like
from
the
Storm.
brain dump, though.
We do. I like the progressive brain dump. That was pretty good. So thanks, guys. Thank you very much
Absolutely.
for your
We
responses on
love
the Facebooks.
our community and our community answers. Always good. You know what? I just realized I forgot about the Craig. The Craig
Of
meme.
course. It's beautiful.
The trivia.
So
Is
the
that
the
skull?
Yeah, the skull is on top. So after you get out of the tower, or before you get into the tower, you can climb to the top of that thing with your grapple shot. So I had
Upgrade your
trouble doing it
grapple
the
shot first,
time. Yeah,
though.
you gotta do that.
I had so much fun feeling like I was breaking the game, trying to climb up it. And I felt really good. And I got to the top and it was like a skull. And I was like, oh, I'm supposed to get here. It was like, it was a little bit disappointing. Like a little bit, I thought I was super clever. And then I was like, oh, they totally knew I would do this. And they put a skull here.
Which, I like that too. So climb up there either because you think you're clever or because you know it's up there. But in the middle of the tower is a skull that I would have been your daddy's skull. Turn that bad boy on as soon as you can. And then you also get a little concert stage with Craig.
Yes!
Craig, our lovely meme from the demo gone wrong.
Or
2019.
right.
I will say I missed all of this.
Oh, you
I got
did.
the skull and jumped off. Never thought 2 seconds about what the hell else was up there, what was going on. Never explored, never looked. And then heard afterwards about all the Craig stuff. Like, where is that? I was on top of the tower. And I was like, oh, what a
Oh,
gobshite.
It has a very tall microphone and a guitar made out of just parts, and it has an album with his face on it, right?
And his world tour.
Yeah.
All the places
Yep,
he's going to.
And it's all the outposts, which I think is very good. The names of all the outposts as he goes around and rocks out. And then there's a song on the back. You can flip over the album, and there's a song on the back, which is also very good.
So unnecessary, but well
It's
done.
very necessary.
Yes. The tribute to Craig, the meme from 2019.
It was a
And
good
now there's-
meme.
It was good. He will survive. Craig will still survive, but he's been removed from the game outside of his world tour. All right, I think that will do it.
What?
I think that will do it
Mm-hmm.
for our debriefing of the tower mission from Halo Infinite. On the next episode, we'll be digging into the second open world area. It's called Connections, I guess. That's in the menus. It's called Connections, but I don't know, it's this other landmass that has a ton of stuff to do, so it's going to take us a couple episodes to cover it all. First episode we'll be covering the FOBs, and we'll also be talking about the high-value targets. Send us your thoughts at podcastevolved@gmail.com or drop us a tweet at podcastevolved on Twitter. You can also support the show by visiting Evolved on Patreon. Until next time, Evolve.
Evolved.
Evolved.